AITA for enforcing a no kids talk rule and not offering to plan a baby shower? Really, are we the assholes? Our friend group, F30s, gets together about once a month. A few years ago, certain group members began trying to conceive. One of the first ones to start trying was Katie. Unfortunately, Katie and her husband had difficulty conceiving. This was understandably very difficult for them. Once other members of the group started having kids, Katie asked us to not talk about kids at our monthly get-togethers because it was difficult for her to hear. She also made it clear that she would not attend any baby showers. The rest of our group had mixed feelings about this. We understood that Katie was very upset about her difficulties conceiving, but it was disappointing to not be able to share important parts of our lives. We generally go around and everyone talks about what's new in their lives. Work, promotions, hobbies, etc. But whenever one of us was on maternity leave, we could basically only say, everything is good. Because we couldn't talk about the main thing happening in our life. That said, now that our kids are older and we are all back to work, have time for hobbies, we have started to enjoy having a dedicated time for no kids talk. It is something that we have even come to look forward to. Fast forward to now, and Katie and her husband are pregnant, which is very exciting. She is nearing her due date and planning to take at least a year off to stay home with the baby. That's enough background, so now to the point. Last night, me and two other members of our group got a text from Katie's husband saying that she is really upset that we barely ask her about her pregnancy when we see her, and that no one has offered to throw her a baby shower. At first we were surprised to hear this. We do text Katie at least weekly to check in on her. We just don't talk about it at our monthly hangouts. She has been talking about it in her updates, but no one has asked any follow-up cues about the pregnancy, and we more focus on her other updates. We talked to the rest of the group, except for Katie, and the general vibe is that we want to keep the no kid talk rule in place, and it feels a little rude that Katie expects us to when she is the one who made the rule in the first place. Would we be the asshole if we keep our traditions? We also don't feel like we have time to plan a shower with the holidays happening. It sounds like no one wants to go through the stress of planning a shower when Katie didn't even go to theirs. TLDR. Are we the assholes for sticking to our tradition even though the original reason no longer applies? NTA. You kept quiet about the massive change your lives were going through and about your little bundles of joy to help her cope. You hid your lives and your joy so that Katie would not feel extra sorrow. That was above and beyond. But now, because of her, you have adult time. Adult time that you've all grown to appreciate and rely on as a release from the relentless onslaught that parenting can feel like. A moment to just sit and be you. You respected her peace of mind. It's time to respect the rest of you. To be ruder about it. She couldn't cope with her emotions when everyone else was getting what she wanted. Now she can't cope with her emotions because everyone else isn't overjoyed that she's finally getting it. She's never going to see the rest of you as anything but Oz about this because she's been selfish the whole time, and that's not going to change. You aren't Oz for wanting to keep the status quo, but she's never going to understand why you aren't capitulating to her main character the way you have been for years. NTA. You all went out of your way to accommodate Katie, which is pretty impressive. Now that she has to do the same exact accommodation, she's complaining. She got an amazing gift of selective silence from everyone. Now is the time for her to show her appreciation by giving back the same. NTA. She ignored everyone else's pregnancies but wants you to treat her differently? Actions have consequences. NTA. Honestly though, if I was suffering from PPD or even the baby blues and couldn't talk about it with My friend. That person wouldn't be my friend. Much less the kind of friend I'd throw a shower for. NTA. It's only fair. It was stupid rule of her to bring to the table to begin with, honestly. The fact that you couldn't talk about your lives when on maternity leave, for example, is absolutely ridiculous. But she made her bed. She doesn't get special treatment just because she struggles to conceive. NTA. This isn't about lacking empathy. It's matching the energy you've been given. Katie is not entitled to a baby shower thrown by any of you. She neither helped plan nor attended any of yours. Additionally, you're correct that the holidays are a demanding time for most people, especially those with families. Your time is spoken for. If you felt like it, you could take up a collection among your friend group and present her with some kind of loaded gift card or each buy and send things to her house. But you aren't necessarily required to do so. I would recommend some grace for the fact that she is late to a very difficult game that y'all have already been playing for quite some time, so keep that in mind. But no, keeping the no kids talk rule is appropriate. I just imagine that Katie will distance herself while on maternity leave when she has nothing else to talk about. NTA. She really should apologize for putting the rest of you through that in the first place if she wants to change things moving forward. People can being selfish during periods of crisis and friends can move past it. But she needs to at least acknowledge that she was not a good friend to you all for many years. NTA. Katie should realize when you're not there for your friends, you can't expect them to be there for you. NTA. I have empathy for Katie. She must have been experiencing some really hurtful and upsetting feelings around fertility. Those feelings are fair and valid. What is, however, unfortunate, not fair, is the way she chose to handle that. Katie asked the group to change, which they accepted based on her externalized reaction to those feelings. She set the tone. Now the inconvenient constraints everyone else felt don't feel so good on the receiving end. She cannot expect you all to center her life and baby when she's the one who took the topic off the table. If her husband is concerned, he is free to throw her the shower of her dreams. Absolutely no one is stopping them. And I know for fact they sell the decorations to people outside of other moms. She cannot demand community that she has explicitly never provided. Her hurt feelings are real and valid. And so are the consequences of how she expressed herself. NTA. Katie is self-centered and needs to learn she isn't the main character. Should have booted her the moment she proposed the rule in the first place, TBH. It's not a rule that a good person would come up with in the first place. But you guys decided to abide by her self-centered nonsense rule. Now she can deal with the repercussions. I had to go back and reread exactly what kind of friend group this is, and it seems like it is the group for most of you. Meaning, as a group, many of you had to bottle sharing some really special feelings and moments each other out of sensitivity to Kate, at her own request. I don't think that should change just because she is pregnant. And it is quite hypocritical that she is complaining that she doesn't get to do that when none of you got to either, because she asked you not to. I think the rule stays in place. I think you should mention to her husband that this was the rule, that it started because of Katie herself requesting it, and that it will continue to stay in place. As for the shower, I get it. Katie wasn't there to partake in any of yours, so I understand why it didn't occur to any of you. This whole thing is a bit upsetting, honestly, as it's whole that Katie did for all of you, but now she wants everybody to climb out of it just for her. I hope this is not indicative of things to come. NTA. NTA at all. It's unfair that you guys couldn't talk about it and she can. Having a baby is life-changing and you couldn't even talk about it. It must have been dreadful. Also, why would you plan her shower when she didn't even attend yours? It's disrespectful, her husband asked. I would have sent laughing emojis to him. She can't just change the rules now because they no longer benefit her. Update us. I'm infertile. Due to ovarian cancer at 27. And IVF wasn't successful, so we were never blessed with kids. I was, however, my BFF's birthing partner when my amazing godson was born 13 years ago. Thanks to his dad being a knob and going AWOL, and has stayed that way since. I've lost count of how many baby showers I've been to through the years. Yes, it stings, but the mom-to-be would never know as I plaster on that smile for her. NTA at all, and it's harshly unfair for Katie to expect you guys to keep quiet about your kids. I love hearing what my friends' kids are up to. I'm now happy being called the cool auntie by my friends' kids, and my younger friends call me mama. Sue, tears of joy. NTA, she set the rules, and if she wants to change them then she can bring it up and have that chat. But she literally set the rules and refused to talk about your kids or attend your baby showers. It's a little entitled to now expect everyone's to fawn over her being pregnant. NTA, double standards are wild here. NTA, it is a bit rich of her to want the rule changed when it suits her. Things need to be even for everyone, including her. If none of you could talk about it, then neither should she. NTA. I have been in those shoes before, and I know how absolutely heartbreaking that road is. 4 losses. I absolutely could not cope with hearing about people getting pregnant, so I understand the no talk rule, but it was the wrong way to go about. I always removed myself if I knew I could not cope rather than made other people bend to me. She made you all bend. On one hand, she's extra happy because finally. And I would guess her thought is that you all would ask because you all didn't have that struggle. I assume. Now I don't think she is just misguided in her handling of the grief. Lots of people struggling tend to hide from baby news because it can cause resentment, and no one wants to resent their friends. Usually with close friends you manage a "congrats, wish you the best" before shuffling off you the hidey hole to cry your eyes out. As for how to manage going forward, you all can choose to do something or send gifts, but you are not obligated to. It would just be a nice gesture. But a conversation also needs to happen about how you all feel now, and how you all felt in the past, so she can understand your feelings on this. Well, if it isn't the consequences of her actions. Not being able to have your own child doesn't mean you can't be ecstatically happy for your friends and family who are having their own kids. I say this as someone who can't have kids and who has plenty of family and friends with kids. Sure, there are times I've felt jealous or sad. But overall, I'm happy for them because I want the people I love to be happy. You all respected her wishes. It's now her turn to do the same. NTA. I would have ditched Katie from the group a long time ago. High maintenance. Precious. Main character energy, and she ain't the main character. NTA. Your friend is a massive taw. I get having trauma and not liking when others have what you don't. I was a career-driven woman and became disabled. I hate being stuck at home, being economically dependent on others, and yes, it hurts me when my friends talk about their growing careers, thinking about buying houses. But I suck it up because they are my friends, and while I am hurt, I am glad that they have happy, fulfilling lives. I would never dare to tell them to not talk about their lives. What you did for Kate was incredibly kind. I would not have done it. It must have been really hard to not talk about things that you experienced, like babies or maternity leave. Now she has no right to gloat about her motherhood.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.